Bikers roared into the small-town farmers' market, their engines echoing through the narrow streets, lined with colorful stalls and bustling with weekend shoppers. The sun was high in the sky, casting long shadows as the crowd parted to make way for the leather-clad group. Among the market-goers was Mary, a widowed farmer's wife, known for her resilience and kind heart. She was arranging her freshly picked vegetables with a calm efficiency, her hands moving gracefully, despite the tension slowly spreading through the square. Mary wasn't one to scare easily, but when the bikers parked their motorcycles near her stall, the unease became palpable. Their loud laughter and rough demeanor caused some vendors to hurriedly pack up their goods. Mary, however, remained steady, her steel-gray eyes meeting theirs with quiet determination. She had weathered storms far worse than a gang of troublemakers, but the sight of them swaggering toward her stall sent a shiver down her spine. "Hey there, sweetheart," one of them sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. He picked up a head of lettuce, twirling it like a toy, before carelessly tossing it back onto the table. The others chuckled as another leaned closer, invading her personal space. "This your place? Looks like a cute little setup. Shame if something happened to it." Mary's heart pounded in her chest, but she refused to let fear show on her face. "You're welcome to buy something if you need," she said firmly, her voice unwavering. "Otherwise, I'd appreciate you moving along so I can tend to my customers." Her boldness caught them off guard, but the momentary silence was quickly replaced by more laughter. One of them grabbed an apple and bit into it without paying, while another tipped over a crate of carrots. The scene was spiraling, and Mary silently prayed for someone to intervene. Unbeknownst to the bikers, someone was already watching. Not far away, a tall, muscular young man in plain jeans and a baseball cap observed the situation. His eyes, sharp and calculating, locked onto the group tormenting his mother. This wasn't just any passerby. This was Jake, Mary's son, a recently returned Navy SEAL who had completed multiple deployments overseas. He had come home to surprise his mother, planning to visit her stall and help out for the day. Instead, he found himself witnessing an act of intimidation that made his blood boil. Jake walked purposefully toward the scene, his boots crunching against the gravel. His calm demeanor masked the storm brewing within. When he reached his mother's stall, he placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder and whispered, "It's okay, Mom. I've got this." Mary's relief was immediate, though she was still worried about what might happen. Jake stepped in front of her, his towering frame and commanding presence instantly shifting the energy. The bikers turned their attention to him, sizing him up with cocky grins. "Who's this? Another farmer here to sell veggies?" One of them mocked, puffing out his chest. Jake didn't respond right away. He simply looked at each one of them, his piercing gaze cutting through their bravado. "You're bothering my mother," he said finally, his voice low and steady. "You're going to apologize and leave." The bikers laughed, but it was forced now. Something about Jake unsettled them. Maybe it was his calm confidence, or the way he held himself, like someone who had seen and done things far beyond their understanding. One of them stepped forward, trying to assert dominance, but Jake didn't flinch. "What are you gonna do about it?" The biker challenged, his smirk fading as he noticed Jake's clenched fists and the scars on his knuckles. "Think you're tough or something?" Jake's response was swift and deliberate. "I don't think. I know." The air grew thick with tension as the bikers hesitated. Jake took a step closer, and the lead biker instinctively backed up. It was clear now that they had underestimated him. Jake didn't need to raise his voice or make threats. His presence alone was enough to make them reconsider. "You don't want to test me," Jake said, his tone leaving no room for argument. "Apologize to my mother." "Now." The bikers exchanged uneasy glances. The crowd that had been watching silently began to stir, emboldened by Jake's stand. Mary's neighbors and regular customers started stepping forward, their combined presence adding to the pressure. One by one, the bikers muttered apologies, their swagger completely gone. Jake watched them closely, ensuring they left without causing further trouble. When the last motorcycle engine faded into the distance, the crowd erupted into applause. Mary turned to her son, her eyes filled with gratitude and pride. "Thank you, Jake," she said softly, hugging him tightly. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Jake smiled, brushing off the praise. "You raised me to stand up for what's right," he replied. "I just did what anyone should do." As the market returned to normal, Mary couldn't help but marvel at the strength and courage her son had shown. He had always been her protector, even as a little boy, and now he had grown into a man who embodied everything she had hoped for. Word of the incident spread quickly through the town, and Jake's actions became a source of inspiration for many. His bravery reminded everyone that standing up to injustice, no matter the odds, could create ripples of hope and unity. And for Mary, it was a day she would never forget, a testament to the unbreakable bond between a mother and her son.